Hey, what's up, guys? It's Zach the Gear Guy, OGE, coming back at you with another predictions video. I do know I have been lacking on the predictions as of late, but I am here now to do my predictions for AEW Revolution 2024. As you can see, I do have the card in front of me, but if you are not familiar with the AEW series or the prediction series as a whole, this is where I come to you and give you my thoughts, my general reactions to the AEW predictions as well as the SHW predictions. But if for those of you who don't know the rules of this, these are my thoughts, my opinions, my live reactions to the card. Nothing is uncensored. As you can see, I do have the TNT Championship right next to me, but nothing is uncensored. This is all my thoughts, my own opinions here. But I want you to feel free to leave your predictions down below in the comment section on who you think will win AEW Revolution 2024. Comment your picks you can predict beside me as we dive through here. So without further ado, I have the matches right in front of me. As you can see here, let's get into this card. First off, we are starting with the 0 hour, meaning the pre-show. We have Willow, Nightingale, and Kris Statlander teaming up alongside Stokely Hathaway to take on Julia Hart and Skye Blue. Now, it's interesting here, Julia Hart and Skye Blue both have, formed an alliance. Like, it's probably a sub-faction of the House of Black. I don't really know how that's going to work. Having this sub-faction together, but if it is going to be a women's faction of the House of Black, I'm all here for it. But, yeah, they've been teaming up, shown to have an alliance as of late. Oh boy. Of course, with Kris Statlander being a former TBS champion. Sorry about that. With Kris Statlander being a former TBS championship holder of the TBS championship. So, this is going to be hard to call. I mean, Willow and Kris are good as a team together, but how will that chemistry be? I know we've seen their chemistry flourish and grow alongside Stokely Hathaway in the past few weeks. But my question is, how good will that be compared to like a fresh, just coming off of injury, Julia Hart and her tag team partner Skye Blue. So for right now, I am going to go with Willow Nightingale and Kris Statlander. My heart says Willow Nightingale and Kris Statlander, but I have to say Julia Hart and Skye Blue are going to take this match. Assuming that Julia is not injured still. But if she is still on the injured list, hence why we haven't seen her defend her TBS championship for a while, one can assume that Willow and Kris Statlander will be taking the win here. Next up we have the Bang Bang Scissor Gang, the team of Bullet Club Gold, Guns Up, and Scissors Up for the Bang Bang Scissor Gang, taking on the team of Private Party and Jay Lethal and company, meaning Jeff Jarrett, Satnam Singh, Karen Jarrett, and all of that. So I just say Jay Lethal and co. to make it more, sayable, at least in my terms. No question here on who I'm going with. I'm going to go with the super faction, the super group, Guns Up, Scissors Up, for the Bang Bang Scissor Gang. Bang Bang. The Bang Bang Scissor Gang has my pick here. Now we do have a bit of a late change to the match. Now we're into the original match card, but one of the matches was changed. Not last minute, but a few days ago, and that was what was supposed to be the Meat Madness. It's been talked about all over the news. I know lots of people were saying Miro was supposed to be in there. Lots of people were saying it was supposed to be Wardlow, Lance Archer, and Powerhouse Hobbs were the three announced, with like speculatory being Miro. I do know Malachi Black was thrown out there as to be a part of this match, but unfortunately that has been put on ice by Tony Khan, saying that all of the, meat men have been out with injury, so, or the people who he's wanted to use for this match have been out on injury. So instead we're getting an all-star 8-man scramble match, which will feature the three previously announced men: Lance Archer, Wardlow, Powerhouse Hobbs. But now they've added to the mix Jericho, Magnus, Dante Martin, Hook, and Brian Cage. Winner of this match gets a future AEW World Championship opportunity. I do kind of agree with Wardlow's arguments that he's been making as of late. So, like, Wardlow's been coming on TV saying, like, when's my time to win the world title? When's my time to win that? I have been here day one. I've been in Joe's spot. I've choked Joe out multiple times. Where's my shot? But I gotta make a same argument could be said for Jericho. Jericho has had a shot at the title when he challenged Jon Moxley when Jon Moxley was the interim AEW World Champion back in the CM Punk days of AEW. But you could make an argument that Jericho could possibly win this and get a shot, but I gotta make another wild prediction and say my top three. My third argument would be Lance Archer. Archer only got one shot at the world title and has since been screwed time and time again. For me, Archer either needs to get that shot and be champion, because he has the make and the mold of a champion. And Tony Khan could do a lot with Lance Archer. But I think I know where this match is going to go. The winner, I think Wardlow will easily destroy the rest of the 7 and then just pick up the scraps of whoever leaves Revolution as AEW World Champion, whomever's house it will be. And speaking of the TNT Championship, we are going to predict that title match right now, as in my eyes it's a bit of a squash match, really. Shout out to my father, Christian Cage, for taking care of business early. As with Adam Copeland out of injury, thank you, Christian, Daniel Garcia now gets that title opportunity. And you know what? There's no better mentor than the TNT champion. So, in my eyes, at least, this is somewhat of a squash match. I'm sorry, Daniel, but there's no argument that I am not going to go against my father, the rightful TNT champion, the patriarch, Christian Cage. That is right, Christian will outwork Daniel Garcia, and at the end of the night, be and remain the face of TNT now and forever. But moving on to a tag team match that has been brewing as of late, the Blackpool Combat Club, i.e. Jon Moxley and Claudio Castagnoli, to be more specific, have said that, either you step up or get stepped on. And FTR have recently taken on that challenge. It all started with Jon Moxley versus Dax Harwood, when Moxley would not let go of that Bulldog choke after winning his match, which resulted into a tag team match between the BCC and FTR. Unfortunately, that right before they hit the Shatter Machine, FTR, the bell rang, and it resulted into a time limit draw between FTR and the BCC. So, looks like we're going to get a lot more than 5 more minutes. Because I'll tell you right now, here's my bold prediction. I'm going to say FTR beats the Blackpool Combat Club at Revolution. And somewhere in 2024, we are going to see a rematch for the AEW World Tag Team Championships with FTR and the Blackpool Combat Club. Or maybe FTR and the EVPs. Maybe. Who knows who will be the champions then when it happens, but I tell you, we should get FTR in title contention if they win this match. Next up, we have Don Callis family member versus Don Callis family member. We have England's own Will Osprey. A lot of people are still chanting, Osprey. Osprey. Sorry, I had to do that, because it's the biggest fad right now. Osprey versus Konosuke Tekesta. Whew. Tekesta should be at that level of a Will Osprey by now. I mean, he beat Omega, he beat Jericho. He's done some stuff that a lot of people haven't really done in professional wrestling before. But I do think I like what Don Callis has done. I'm sorry if that offends anybody, but Don Callis is a genius. Iron sharpens iron, to get Konosuke Tekesta to that next step where he should be challenging for an international championship or the world championship, or heck, even the belt I've got on now, the TNT title. He needs to take on Osprey. And I do not see Osprey losing his first match here. So I am going to say Will Osprey begins to leave the Don Callis family, and obviously I wouldn't say go into business for himself. I would say take his opportunities elsewhere. Especially, I'll get into my bold predictions in a minute, but I'm going to go Will Osprey here. Next up, we have the AEW International Championship match. We, as Undisputed Kingdom member, Rodrick Strong, takes on Orange Cassidy, who is your reigning and defending international champion as of the time of this recording. So what the Undisputed Kingdom have basically done since they've injured MJF, who no pun intended, will have a date with the devil soon. Adam Cole, baby. Boy, when that day comes, that pop is going to be something. I can tell you that right now. But, whew, man, we were on to something with the Jon Moxley reign. As much as I didn't really feel like that was Moxley's strongest reign, you know, like I did not get Orange losing the belt at first. But this time I think it feels right for at least some Undisputed Kingdom method to live up to its name. If you really want to be Undisputed Kingdom, you're going to need to have some sort of title. And what better way to have Orange drop that title and make it feel relevant again. Now, don't get me wrong, I am a huge Orange Cassidy fan. Dude even gave me a high five and a handshake once. But now seems to be the right time for Orange to lose the belt and have a new face take it over. So I'm gonna go and swing my shot with Rodrick Strong here. Ever since they've picked off best friends one by one, including Rocky Romero, Trent Beretta, you know, Chuck Taylor, I do think it's that time that Undisputed Kingdom starts getting gold, and it should start with Rodrick Strong and then proceed with Wardlow, who will then probably hand that title off to Adam Cole, as Adam Cole first proclaimed after the end of World's End. Next up, we do have the AEW, so I'm going Rodrick Strong for the International Championship match. Next up, we do have the AEW Continental Crown, the Continental Classic Triple Crown title. Sorry if I butchered that by any means. But the Triple Crown will be defended as Bryan Danielson, in his last full year of professional wrestling, at least full-time professional wrestling, takes on Eddie Kingston, who is your reigning and defending Triple Crown champion. Now, this is a match about respect, honestly, because Eddie Kingston had said that win or lose, Bryan Danielson must shake his hand. And ever since Bryan Danielson has lost the Continental Classic, which was a great tournament, and I hope we get again this year, Bryan Danielson has gone on to disrespect Eddie Kingston. He's not liked anything that Eddie's really done in the business. You know, he's been calling Kingston a bum. You know, so win, lose, or draw, Eddie Kingston asked Bryan Danielson to at least show him respect, which is something that Bryan Danielson does not want to do. But Eddie Kingston, in my eyes, is probably at the peak of his game right now. He's at the top of the mountain. Started with the New Japan Strong Openweight Championship, which he somehow managed to regain by winning the Triple Crown in the Continental Classic. So I have no bias about it. I am going to go with Eddie Kingston retaining the Triple Crown and then having Bryan Danielson shake Eddie Kingston's hand. There should be no problem with that at all, and I can definitely see that happening. Next up, we have the AEW Women's World Championship title match, as former best friend Deonna Purrazzo takes on the ever-timeless Toni Storm. with Lufa and Mariah May in her corner. I know Donna has done a lot of work in TNA or Impact. I think they've rebranded to TNA now, but she's done amazing work over there, and she's come to AEW. She's been trying to see what's been going on with Timeless Toni Storm. So I do think that ever since Toni Storm has found this, like, Marilyn Monroe type style, or, like, old vintage Hollywood, like, with the black and white films and stuff, it's really working out for her. Really great job. Great job. RJ City. For writing, Toni Storm's character, but, excellent work by Toni Storm for all the work, all the videos and everything. It's just a wonderful, I could make a whole video on why Toni Storm has the best gimmick in AEW right now, besides my father, Christian Cage. But that is beside the point. Anyway, getting back to the match, Zach. Anyway, getting back to the match. Deonna Purrazzo versus Toni Storm. I gotta say Toni Storm, and I will tie my loose ends together real quick on why I've been so secretive, because it'll all make sense in one moment. Next up, I do believe this is going to be your co-main event, and I know I think it's been confirmed by What Culture Wrestling and Fightful Select that your co-main event that evening will be Hangman Adam Page versus Swerve Strickland versus Samoa Joe for your AEW World Championship. That belt right up there. Now, here's a funny conundrum. Ever since Hangman and Swerve had Hangman Swerve 3, where it was this big match that there was going to be a winner to determine who gets a shot at Revolution, I gotta say, for it not to go into OT, definitely sparked some controversy in the wrestling community as a whole, because you have Hangman convincing people, like, you had 30 minutes and you couldn't get the job done, you have 30 minutes, crying like a man-child who's spoiled. I wouldn't say spoiled is such a strong word. I'd say the guy who said, you almost had me, but you didn't. Now, you have Swerve, a guy who's... Sorry, but I have to. Yeah, swerve when you drive. But you have Swerve, a guy who's calling it his destiny or his mission to win the AEW World Championship and become the first African American AEW World Champion. But, which I do think Swerve can get it done. But there is one X factor everybody is forgetting about. Well, not forgetting about, I'd say, but is kind of overlooking, because the Hangman Swerve thing is just really, really, really good right now, and it's really overshadowing the person who's holding the title, is Joe. So naturally, what I'm thinking is it could go either way. Both men team up and eliminate Joe, which, in a perfect world, actually, I should start with that. You see, in a perfect world where Swerve and Hangman could start the match with at least some teamwork and working together in harmony, they could both eliminate Joe. If they worked together, they could eliminate Joe and have him out of here and then say, okay, let's have that one-on-one whilst Joe's getting cleared because the champion can still lose the belt without actually being pinned. But you see, no, we can't have that. Hangman's too convinced that Swerve didn't get the job done. And Swerve's too obsessed by saying, yes, I did. I beat you twice. To not have that. So, what I think is most likely going to happen is Joe's going to take advantage of that. Or at least Hangman's going to try and distract Swerve to a degree to get him off that goal. In my eyes, Swerve Strickland is at the peak where he deserves the AEW World Championship. He's got the fan support. He's got, of course, Prince Nana with the swerve when you drive. Yeah, swerve when you drive. You know, he's got the mic skills. He's got everything. He's got everything he's gained. He's practically got nothing to lose except for that AEW World Championship. So, naturally, I would say put the championship on Swerve, which is what I'm gonna say. But my heart's telling me that's not how we're gonna go. And eventually we're gonna get Swerve and Hangman probably at double, and we're gonna get Joe and Hangman double nothing, and then we're probably going to end up getting Hangman versus Swerve, where Swerve's going to win the title. I didn't mean to lose it at Revolution, but you know what? I'm going to go with Swerve Strickland here. I think, as a cartoon once taught me, you need to strike whilst the iron is hot, and the iron is hot on Swerve Strickland. Joe, you've made one great transitional champion, not overlooking you by all means. But I'm going to say Swerve Strickland, because I like swerving when I drive, yeah. But with all due respect to Samoa Joe, he is one great champion, but I think it's time for the Swerve Strickland era to begin, because it's whose house? Swerve's house in 2024. Then, as reported by What Culture Wrestling and basically probably on the dirt sheets of wrestling, Fightful Select, whatever wrestling source you use, maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong, you can let me know in the comment section, but from what I've read, the AEW Tag Team titles, this will be your main event, and it is for the AEW Tag Team titles in a Tornado Tag Team match as Darby Allin for the final time. Sorry. I'm really feeling emotional, because for the last time, a man who has been, you know, entertaining a lot of individuals from way back, like in the WCW, WWF days. A true no moniker could describe this man more than an icon, a legend, an icon. However you want to define him, it's Sting! Sting and Darby for the final time in Sting's retirement match. Take on the EVPs, Matthew and Nicholas Jackson, who have been looking for Sting as of late. But also, Ric Flair will also be in the corner of Sting and Darby, presumably for this last match. Now, I know what you're thinking. And I know that those of you who watch this predictions video might say, but Zach, I thought you were... But Zach, you totally quit. No, I did not. I did not mean to. I did not at all mean to misguide you with the thumbnail. But Sting has been has done all of this work by himself, mind you. And, man, I've just been so emotional with Sting's retirement match. Each and every week I've been, it's like, how to describe it, like enjoying a nice dinner, a nice dessert, you don't want it to end, or like having one of those really, really, really good days. You don't want it to end, but when it does, you cherish it like it's, you cherish it. That's something that's how I've been feeling about Sting's AEW run as a whole. I've listened to Sting's theme a lot recently. I've, done a lot. So with Sting retiring, knowing Sting, he wants to go out with a bang for one last time at Showtime. And I think Sting wants to do right and give the titles to the Young Bucks and put them over in the Tornado Tag match instead of, having it be Darby and, Darby relinquishing the titles to somebody else. But I do know we are in for one last good It's Showtime. And this show will be wonderful to close out Sting's career. All I can say is thank you, Sting, from the bottom of my heart. And you deserve it. Thank you, Sting. But anyway, I will now go back over my predictions for you Willow and Kris Statlander versus Julia Hart and Skye Blue. I am going to go with Julia Hart and Skye Blue. Bang Bang Scissor Gang versus Private Party and Jay Lethal and Co. I'm going to go with the Bang Bang Scissor Gang. The 8-man All-Star Scramble. I am going to go with Wardlow victorious overall. But my favorites in this match will be Lance Archer and Chris Jericho. For the TNT Championship title match, I am going Daniel Garcia versus Christian Cage. I am going to go with Christian Cage. The Blackpool Combat Club versus FTR. I am going to go with FTR. Will Osprey versus Konosuke Tekesta. I am going to go with Will Osprey here. The AEW International Championship. Orange Cassidy versus Rodrick Strong. I am a huge Orange Cassidy fan, but I am going to have to say Rodrick Strong here. The Triple Crown from the Continental Classic. Bryan Danielson versus Eddie Kingston. I'm going to go with Eddie Kingston. The AEW Women's World Championship title match. Donna Purrazzo versus Timeless Toni Storm. I'm going to go Timeless Toni Storm here, because I think Mercedes Moné will show up in Boston in a few weeks, and she's going to be gunning for that title. We have the main event, Joe versus Hangman versus whose house? Swerve's house. Swerve Strickland for the AEW World Championship. I am going to go Swerve Strickland, even though I cannot count out a Joe victory here. And then finally, for the last time, it's showtime. Woo! Sting and Darby in a tornado tag team match defend the tag team titles against Nicholas and Matthew Jackson, the EVPs. I am going to go with the EVPs, Matthew and Nicholas Jackson, for this one. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video. Tap the bell to ring all notifications, and definitely check out my other videos on this channel. I cannot stress that enough. And thank you for spending a little bit of my time, a little bit of your time, watching a little bit of my life. I will see you in the next episode.